Alright guys, welcome back to Strong Successful Male. So for today, going to go over a story titled, I'm a 40-year-old male in love with an escort, a 25-year-old female. And guys, just like the title said, this is about a guy who's convinced himself that he's in love with the girl he's been seeing for the last number of years. And basically his situation is that a few years back, his wife suddenly died. And he obviously had a very, very hard time dealing with it and coping with it. So he started online dating, and that didn't work out. And one thing led to another, and he started seeing this woman. And at the time, he was probably about 35 years old, and she was 20 in college. Now, she was, a legal adult. Let me just make that clear from the get-go. And she's obviously doing this during college to pay for the bills and all that, and probably make a ton of money doing so. And he's been seeing her for 5 years. And now she's obviously out of school and ready to quit the business. And this guy basically wants to know if he feels that he's in love with her and he should profess his love for her and all that. And what this guy obviously has a very hard time understanding is that guess what? This is her business. He's a client, nothing more, And so I'm going to go through his story here, guys, and there's a part of me, and I'm sure part of you that wants to just slap the guy for thinking these things, but obviously he's going through a tough time. So he's a brother, he's having a hard time, so I want to help him out. But I'm going to go through his story here, add my 2 cents along the way. And at the end of the story, I made sure to add some comments that some people said about this situation, their opinions on it. And then finally, at the end, I'm going to give this guy a very well-needed dose of reality about this situation. So, there's no misunderstanding of what's really going on here. And hopefully get him on the path to getting his life in order, because this guy's obviously going through a hard time. So, starts off, 8 years ago, my wife passed away, and I had a difficult time coping. Eventually, I tried online dating, but it went nowhere. I started seeing an escort, and she was amazing. We really connected on an emotional as well as a physical level. I've seen her at least once a week for the past 5 years. That's a lot of time. So, do the math here. If he sees her once a week for a year, let's just round off to 50 times, for 52 weeks in a year. I'll knock off 2 weeks for sickness and all that. So let's just say 50 times in a year times 5 years. We're looking at like 250 times that he's gotten together with this gal. Okay? Now, I have no idea where he lives, what city, whatever, but I would imagine that's a lot of money. I don't know if she goes by the hour or the evening or the whole night, but we're looking at some serious money being spent on this woman here. Okay, so this guy's obviously got money, but imagine those numbers being spent just on her. Good Lord, but this guy's obviously very unhappy, definitely desperate, going through a hard time. But good Lord, that's a lot of money on her. He says, I feel like we've grown close over this time, and she's opened up to me as well. Well, after 250 get-togethers, I certainly hope that you guys have gotten close and she's opened up in many ways, more than one. She told me her real name, and I've actually been to her condo, her actual condo. She's told me her reasons for becoming an escort. We talk about her family, and I've even taken her on vacation several times. We text daily. We've talked about her school and her career, and this is what is messing me up. So, obviously, this young woman knows that this guy is a meal ticket. To her, he's a top client, because obviously he's getting all the special treatment from her, supposedly getting her real name, being to her condo, her texting him often, all this extra attention. If this was Las Vegas, this guy would be known as a whale. In Vegas, or the big casinos, the whales are the guys that come there and obviously put a lot of money in the casinos. So they get their rooms comped. They get meals comped. They send a limousine to take them to go see a show or anywhere in Vegas or whatever happens to be. This guy's a whale to her, so he's getting the extra special treatment. But in his eyes, that she obviously he's thinking that she must have feelings for me because of all these things. No. This is a business for her. She's in her prime, because like he said here, he's now 40 years old and she's 25. she's in her prime, the prime years, okay? And trust me, she's got plenty of other dudes that she's making this living off of. And let me just make this clear. Whatever somebody does in this world for a living, that's their own business, as long as they're not causing harm to people physically, mentally, emotionally, psychologically. Now, one could argue that, she's leading this guy on, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's a pretty much a given common knowledge that, you hire someone for this service, it's a service, nothing more. But this guy obviously is very unhappy and just a little out of it, And I have no judgment on him for obviously using this service. And if it was just him purely doing it to hook up, that's it. That's one thing. But now that his heart's gotten involved, it's a whole different situation. And this guy's obviously, going to be really hurting here when reality comes to light. It goes on. I feel a strong connection, but I also realize it's her job, and I'm paying her. The problem for me is that she's now done school and is ready to move back home to begin her career and quit being an escort. She told me all this during Christmas. She bought me a PlayStation 5 for Christmas. WTF. She said it was a thank you for being a great client all these years, and she said she's going to miss me. So he's no doubt at the bare minimum spent well over $100,000 on her, probably close to $200,000. I mean, depending on how it all works. And he got a PlayStation. How nice. And not to mention him taking her on vacation and all those other things. And I'm sure he was doing plenty more than what he's mentioning here. But like I said, this was a business for her during her prime years to pay for school. I mean, right now, it's sadly becoming common that a lot of women, when they're young in college, are doing things like this, whether it be on OnlyFans, because there's a never-ending supply of desperate guys that are clueless. They're going to pay for that service. Girls are making a ton of money on that, although lately there's so many girls going on OnlyFans, they're not making as much as they did initially. And also the services where basically these sites where these sugar daddies can get together with these girls and help them along. And of course, this line of work. It's becoming more common. So she's now done, and she's ready. She's done school, and it paid for everything, and probably paid her for her BMW and her very nice apartment and her wardrobe and all that. She's moving on. And this guy obviously doesn't know how to deal with it. He said, this was all a thank you for being a great client. She said that even though I was a client, I always made her feel special. Aw. She said she's going to miss venting to me and appreciate me always listening to her. She said she is planning on making the move this spring. I'm mentally preparing for it, but don't know if I can handle it. I think I'm in love with her. Smack. Dude, it's business. You're her client. That's it. Okay? I mean, I know this is hard, but that's it. It's business. You paid the bills, okay? You were her whale, like in Las Vegas, and you are the one that helped her with this lifestyle, and that's that. You got what you wanted out of it. She got what she wanted out of it. Now she's moving on. And by the way, I gotta really wonder, this woman moves on and starts her career, whatever happens to be. The guy that she gets together with, is he ever going to find out about this? Is he ever going to know? Because I don't think many guys would be very happy getting serious with a woman, I don't care how hot she is, if he finds out that what she did to pay the bills during college. I'm very curious about that. I'm going to guess probably he won't know. But imagine finding that out. What's going to happen is she'll get together with some guy, and then in 10 years he'll find out, and then he'll be posting stories on Reddit and online. I'll be doing his story about her. Anyhow, it goes on. I want to tell her this. I want to tell her I love her and she means everything to me. I really think she has feelings too. No, she doesn't. But I don't know. Maybe she's just really good at her job. Ding, ding, ding. It's probably a long shot, but I'd love to be in a relationship with her. Hell, I'd even relocate with her. Should I tell her I love her? I'm 40 years old, no kids, I don't have a lot of close friends. All I have is my career. What do I have to lose? I don't know. Then again, if this is all just a part of her job as an escort, I don't want to make her feel awkward. But like I said, this is her job. End of story. You're a client. And come on, dude. You're not. Maybe you think you're in love with her, but you can't be in love with someone that line of work. It's not going to work, okay? She is not Julia Roberts. You're not Richard Gere. And this is not the movie Pretty Woman, okay? That's a movie. That's not reality, dude, okay? And this whole thing that, he was her texting buddy, and he was there to listen to her problems and venting and all that. He was basically your typical nice guy that that girls typically string along, and they'll be happy to have them hang out with them and buy them stuff and text with them and listen to all their problems, but they're not the guys they actually get serious with, okay? This guy is, okay? This guy's business, nothing more, okay? And again, I'm willing to bet you that if he obviously wasn't so impacted by the sudden death of his wife, he wouldn't be grieving and he probably wouldn't have fallen for her like this, If it was just a regular guy wanting to obviously hook up and he just liked doing that, it probably wouldn't have been a problem. But because his heart's got involved, that's the issue. So now I'm going to read a few comments that people had on this subject, and I'm going to give this guy a dose of reality. One of the comments says, I came here to say this. The person you're in love with is a persona. Not to say that she isn't a genuinely wonderful person, but you don't know her. As a SEX worker, let me tell you, the person you think you know and love is the person she's pretending to be when she's with you. Exactly. This is a good response, one you should listen to and take to heart. Even if she in her work life is close to how she is in her real life, it's not the same. You feel love and affection because she's done the hard work for you by making herself more palatable to you. And that's obviously from a woman that's in the same line of work. And dead on. She's an actress, okay? She's being whoever you want her to be to make you happy for repeat business. That's just how it is. Another comment, she sees you as a client, even though she bought you an expensive gift as a thank you for hiring her and treating her as a person instead of a doll. She doesn't see you as a relationship material. She clearly is moving on with her life. I think you need to take a step back and see a therapist. I know you will find someone one day. Another one says, no. Look once a week for 5 years. You are basically a regular source of income for her. You were 35 when you started. She was 20. Even the PlayStation 5 means a minimal return on the income she's been provided with. She's financially settled, and she's good to move on now. She probably is genuinely glad you were a client. Lots of weirdos out there. However, your relationship is rooted in financial transactions. When she moves on, or she would have to lie about how you both met. As a 43-year-old man, I would have no interest in a 25-year-old woman. As you pay her, she has a massive incentive to be nice to you and listen to you. I dread to think how much this has cost you over the years. Try to move on yourself. And the final comment is, dude, grow up. She's an escort. Sorry for your loss, but your DICK is making up a fantasy world that your mind can't handle. And these are all very good points these people have made. Now, for my dose of reality, I'm just going to say what I said kind of throughout the video. And to this guy, you were a client. Nothing more, okay? And again, she was being who she thought you wanted to be. You wanted her to be. Her job isn't just to make you feel good down south, but it's also to feel good in here, and all that, to keep coming back for repeat business, okay? And again, you got the royalty treatment because you were, in essence, a whale to her, like out in Las Vegas in the casino business, okay? You were guaranteed money, and so she kept you along. And again, in a situation where if it was purely transactional, you were having fun down south and she was getting paid, everybody's happy, but the problem is your heart got involved. Your heart got involved because obviously you got a lot of unresolved issues that you got to work out before you can truly move on, okay? And so do not for a second think that you truly know who she is. You probably don't even know her real name, even though you think you got it. And yeah, I'm willing to bet she probably thought liked you as a person, as a friend, but you were like the guy that a woman drags along, the orbiters, if you will, the guys that the girl could text or call and would be over in a heartbeat to listen to all her problems or to be her texting buddy or things like that. That's what this guy is, except this guy also paid her and he obviously, got some ass. But it's not going to go anywhere. And the best thing to do is don't go professing your love with her. give her the big hug, have your final roll in the hay, if you will, before things are over and she moves on, and that's that, and move on. And my recommendation is to work hard to get your life back in order, because really, dude, this guy really needs, in my opinion, some help, okay? Whether it be a life coach or some time with a therapist or something, working out some issues here. And obviously the guy's lonely because he says he doesn't have a whole lot of close friends. I would seriously start doing all this stuff for self-improvement. I would start joining things where there's other people so you can start making friends, getting to know people. It doesn't mean you're going to make good friends overnight, but the more you're around people in social settings, you get to talk to people, and you might make some good friends along the way, okay? When I started martial arts when I was 35 years old, I got to meet some of the best people in my life that have now become my best friends. This is going back, 8 years ago, okay? I went there. It's a very social environment. Started talking to people in the school. I started getting to know people. And then one friend after another, I started making really good friends. I'd recommend this guy does the same thing. Not martial arts, unless he wants to, but definitely extracurricular activities where he meets people and joining clubs or who the hell knows what, charity events, I don't know what. And get to talking to people, make some friends. You'll feel much more whole. And then, of course, since this guy, I'm assuming, has a ton of money, he hasn't blown his whole nest egg on her. He's got money. He can afford to hire a life coach to help him out. There's some definitely good life coaches out there to help guys like him that need to get get back on the path, or a good therapist, okay? Just be careful with those therapists, believe me. And of course, getting yourself in good shape. If you don't know anything about fitness or whatever, hire a personal trainer to help you go to the gym and know what you're doing and get yourself in really good shape. Again, you don't have to be jacked, but just in good shape. If you have a problem with food, I don't know what this guy looks like, a nutritionist to get him on a good eating plan. The point is, this guy's got money, he's got resources to help himself get back on track. And of course, with that money, you can get yourself a decent car, good wardrobe, house, all these things. And if this guy simply likes younger women, it's not just about her, then okay, get some help, learn some skills, get some, improve yourself, and put yourself out there, start meeting younger women if that's what you're attracted to. But just be careful. Be careful that you don't get used because of your money, all right? But this woman, it's not going to work, bro. You got to move on. End of story, okay? Again, this isn't Pretty Woman, okay? That's a movie. That movie made a ton of money and still does to this day, but it's a fucking movie, all right? So that's what I suggest you definitely do. Work on yourself. Move on. So, all right, guys, that's it for today. Be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this. Again, guys, this is why I love what I do, because there's always a new, interesting story every day. There's always something new, and this may help somebody out. There may be somebody right now in some part of the world that could be in a situation like this guy, or may end up in a situation like this one day, okay? Who knows? But it may help somebody out. But be sure to comment down below. Let me know what you think about this, and be sure to like the video, share with your friends, and subscribe. And I'll catch you next time.